In ray optics, you have already studied about the laws of reflection. Now we are studying them again, but on the basis of wave theory as the base. In order to prove the laws of reflection on the basis of wave theory, let us consider the reflection of a plane wave front A dash B dash from a plane reflecting surface S dash. Let AB be the position of wave front when it just touches the reflecting surface S dash at the instant t is equal to 0. A dash A be the direction of the propagation of the wave front A dash B dash. Let us assume the wave front A dash B dash incident on the plane S dash at an angle I, and the speed of the light in the given medium is v. At t is equal to 0, the point A is in contact with the surface S dash. The secondary wavelets from the points other than A have maximum intensity in the forward direction and zero intensity in the backward direction, and thus they will forward in the forward direction. Since the surface S dash is a reflecting surface, the intensity of the secondary wavelets from A is maximum in the backward direction and minimum in the forward direction. Thus we can say the wavelets from the point A will move in the backward direction. Let us assume after t seconds, the point B of the wavefront AB is incident on the reflecting surface S dash at the point C. Then BC is equal to VT. During the same period, the hemispherical secondary wavelet from A would also attain the radius Vt. Hence, the hemisphere at the center at A and radius is equal to Vt represents the secondary wavelets that generated from A at time t is equal to 0 if the surface such as CE tangential to the hemispherical wavefront and passing through the point C is constructed, then CE would represent the reflected wavefront. AE is the radius of the hemispherical wavefront generated at the point A and is equal to Vt. That means AE is equal to BC is equal to Vt. The angles with the reflected wavefront CE that makes with the reflecting surface S dash is the angle of reflection. It is represented as theta. Let the triangle AEC and ABC are the right-angled triangle with the common side AC, with other two equal side AE and BC. Therefore, these two triangles are congruent. Hence, the angle BAC is equal to the angle ACE. This means the angle of incidence should be equal to the angle of reflection. That is, the angle of incidence I is equal to the angle of reflection theta. This is the law of reflection. Now let's understand the behavior of a plane wavefront when it is refracted through a prism or a lens. Consider a plane wavefront passing through a glass prism. As the wavefront AB passes through the prism, point A travels longer distance through the prism than the point B. Since the speed of light through the prism is less, the point A, the lower portion of the wavefront, gets delayed from the prism. As a result of this, there is a tilt in the wavefront A dash B dash. When a plane wavefront refracted through a convex lens, it becomes a converging wavefront and it converges to the principal focus of the lens. On the other hand, a plane wavefront is refracted through a concave lens, we get a diverging spherical wavefront. If a plane wavefront is incident on a concave mirror, after reflection, it becomes a converging spherical wavefront. It becomes a converging spherical wavefront. Now, we have to discuss about the Doppler effect of light. The apparent change in the frequency of light due to the relative motion in between the source and observer is called as Doppler effect. You have already studied about the Doppler effect related to the sound. Let us recollect the relation that we have derived for the Doppler effect of sound. Let Vs be the velocity of the source and Vo be the velocity of the observer. Both these velocities are relative to the medium in which they propagate and act along the line joining them. And nu naught be the frequency of the sound when both the source and the observer are at rest. Nu is the frequency of sound when the source is in motion and the observer is at rest. Finally, nu dash be the frequency of sound when the observer is in motion and the source is at rest. Then as per the Doppler effect of this sound effect, we have as per the Doppler effect of sound waves, we have nu is equal to V0 by nu is equal to nu naught into V by V minus Vs, and nu dash is equal to nu naught into 1 plus V naught by V. Let them be equation 1 and 2. Thus, in the case of sound wave, since the velocity of the sound wave and the source is relative to the medium in which they propagate, so the effect on the frequency is different when the observer moves away from the source and when the source moves away from the observer. But in the case of light waves, this is not true. But this is not true in the case of light wave. Let us now understand the reason for this. We know the speed of the electromagnetic wave is same in any inertial frame of reference. As a consequence, for the purpose of Doppler effect of light, a source of light moving through a medium in which the observer is at rest and the observer is moving through the medium with source at rest are physically identical situation. Hence, we cannot use the equation 1 and 2 in case of light waves. The expression for the Doppler effect of light is predicted on the basis of relative theory. The expression is nu is equal to nu naught into square root of c minus v by c plus v. Let it be equation 3. In this expression, c is the speed of light in vacuum, v is the velocity of the source with respect to the observer, v is taken along the line joining of the source and the observer. V is taken as positive when the source is moving away from the observer, and it is taken as the negative when it is moved towards the observer. Equation 3 can be mathematically manipulated as shown to obtain the equation 4. If V is very much less than C, then V square by C square is very less than 1. So we have to neglect the term. So then nu is equal to nu naught into 1 minus V by C. Again, that can be written as nu is equal to nu naught minus nu naught into V by C. Once again, that can be rewritten as nu minus nu naught divided by nu naught is equal to minus V by C. If The change in the frequency nu minus nu naught can be written as delta nu. Then the fractional change in the frequency delta nu by nu naught is equal to minus v by c. Doppler effect of light has very importance in the field of astronomy. When light emitted by the stars is passed through prism, a spectrum is obtained. In the visible part of this spectrum, lines with different wavelengths along with the intermediate dark lines are present. If a star moving away from us, there is an apparent increase in the wavelength due to the Doppler effect, and the whole pattern of the light gets shifted towards longer wavelength. This is called the redshift. Our universe is continuously expanding. The astronomers has found an experimental proof for this through the redshift. When a star is moving towards the observer, there is an apparent decrease in the wavelength, and the whole pattern of the spectrum gets shifted towards the shorter wavelength, and this is called the blue shift. It is important to note we can measure either the red shift or blue shift very accurately by comparing the apparent wavelength of the spectral line with the non-laboratory wavelengths. In this section, we will discuss the interference pattern produced by the superposition of two waves. When two waves reach a point in this space, act at the same time, the resultant displacement of the particle is given by the superposition principle. According to this principle, at a particular point in the medium, the resultant displacement produced by a number of waves is the vector sum of the displacement produced by each of the waves. That is here y is equal to y1 plus y2. For coherent source, the waves produced by them have the same frequency and the amplitude. Also, the phase difference between them is a constant with respect to the time. The waves from the coherent source can be interfere constructively or destructively. If they interfere constructively, if the two waves are added constructively, then the resultant amplitude should be equal to the vector sum of the two. When they interfere destructively at any point, the individual displacement cancels each other and the resultant displacement at that point is minimum. You have already studied for the constructive interference, the condition is the path difference should be equal to n lambda, where lambda is the wavelength of the light used and n is an integer. In terms of the phase difference phi, the condition for the constructive interference is given by phi is equal to 0 plus or minus 2 pi or plus or minus 4 pi etc. And for the destructive interference, the path difference is n plus half into lambda, or the phase difference phi is equal to plus or minus pi or plus or minus 3 pi or plus or minus 5 pi, so on.